Hello! Wow, that was a monumental effort to go live. Hopefully, you didn't get a ton of live notifications. It took me 8 minutes to go live. YouTube changed their creator interface, but I've been using it for months, so it didn't actually apply to me, and I think it made me reset everything up. I actually not sure I did. So I hope you find me. That was crazy complicated, but I didn't do anything. So anyway, let me put my keyboard away now. Okay. It will, if you guys are getting all of those notifications, then you're probably bouncing all over the place looking for me. Hey Patty, you don't have sound. You should have sound. Let's see. It shows sound on my end. Let me see. Oh, I can hear myself if I unmute YouTube. Is it muted by any chance? Put your closed captioning on. How are you all? Hi, Mullen. Whew, man. This week has been just too much. I think, hey Melinda, welcome. Yeah, since I saw you guys last Saturday, I think I mentioned that my phone possibly died right before the stream, like literally died. You only got one notification. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, so I went live, I think 5 times. So that was kind of weird. My phone did die. And then we had a planned power outage through PG&E for fire prevention. That took place Sunday morning at 4 a.m. And then by Sunday midnight, we were evacuated at my parents' house. We were up against the warning line. We weren't in an evacuation order, but we have so many pets, and because we don't have power, it's really hard to go to bed knowing that the winds are extremely high and the fire isn't very, as the crow flies, pretty close. So, oh, Patty, I have done that so many times. Yeah, and like we didn't notice it till 9 p.m. All of a sudden there was a warning and it went up to our street, and we're like one house from that street. So that just means they're like, hey, you guys might be evacuated. You know, it's not an order. So I don't want to sound too dramatic. It's just more that like our power is down, it's pitch black, and we have 4 pets, and it's smoky ash coming down. It's kind of like, it is dramatic in the moment. So we just go to my parents' house so that we can sleep and we can not worry and we can breathe, because it's really hard. The ash gets in the house, the smoke's in the house, you know. And then we didn't get back till Tuesday, but they have it kind of contained. And then a power came back, I think Monday afternoon. I don't even remember anymore. I came here Wednesday, and yesterday, oh my gosh, it was just yesterday, and my internet was down. Because he turned off the internet. You guys, it's been a few days. So I've been trying to like furiously get those bin videos, which probably none of you care about. I want to finish this project, and man, it's just so like, I just wanted to like forget everything and just work. I love working. So I'm really happy to be here, and I'm really glad, even though then I had these hiccups. I was like, of course I have these hiccups. I don't even care anymore. And now I have to bring my pug to the vet tomorrow morning. We brought our cat last week. I thought I was going to lose my cat last week. Man, it's just like nuts. Not to mention the dumpster fire of our democracy right now. It is just like, yikes. So anyway, Saturday, I took the adorably cute Sagebrush top, which I'm realizing I don't have a picture of here because I didn't print out the instructions. It looks very similar to this without the button front, and it has very, very puffy sleeves. The actual Sagebrush top is a little top, and it's really full and blousey. Hi, Derek. Oh, awesome. And then it has a binding finish on the neckline, and then it ties on the back above the yoke. It's really cute. So I decided to make it into a dress, of course, and I have hacked this thing a lot now. I put the opening to the front, and I pivoted the fullness that was in the armhole into this little gathered waist kind of detail. I'm a terrible sketcher. I'm really sorry. $25,000 at design school in the early 90s, which was a lot of money, and this is my sketching ability. They put a lot of emphasis on sketching, so I'm sorry. I took the pattern drafting and design more seriously. So this is kind of what I'm thinking, you guys, but you see I have two sleeves right here. So I'll show you with and without. So this would be like just a nice simple sleeve. I really want your guys' opinion. I'm kind of leaning towards this, to be honest. And then I'm going to add a little ruffle to kind of mimic this detail up here to the hem. And then I made it button front all the way down. It's in a gigantic plaid. Like, the plaid is gigantic. So I'm already a little worried that I've added too much detail for this plaid, but it's going to be an experiment, right? And then we can work on pattern matching, which on something this big can be easier and harder. Okay, and so then here is it's got an extremely full sleeve. And then I made it right here. It's elasticized. Terrible sketching, sorry. Whereas the original just stops right there. It kind of like a puff sleeve. It's huge though. Like, look at this sleeve, you guys. It's literally a bonnet. This is my normal sleeve. It looks like it ate my sleeve for lunch. So, but it's really cute. We looked at the, hey Sydney. Sydney's looking for homes for me in Washington now because I'm moving. We'll see. So I kind of looking toward this plain sleeve, and I mean, maybe I could be persuaded to make the hem a ruffle that hangs down, or a pleated ruffle. What if I pleated the ruffles? Oh my God. I just say, oh my God, because I just keep adding this to this thing. If for those of you here for a Sagebrush tutorial, I'm really sorry. It will not probably follow the pattern very closely. There are a lot of details here, and if you stick with me, I go over lots of the methods to sew those things. So I will be doing the yoke with the ruffle still, and binding. So. All right, and then I have some other things I wanted to make sure you guys knew. I forgot to tell you guys that Hearts Fabric said a bot got a hold of our discount code, and so they just changed it to this for 10% off, and that's Hearts Fabric, HARTS, you guys, and that pretty much covers shipping, which is really great. So this is our new discount code, and I'll just try and remind you guys when we do some of the sponsored streams. I ordered samples to do a raincoat, because I'm doing a raincoat this fall. A waterproof, breathable raincoat. This is, some of you probably don't know, but this is one of the things I did in the garment industry. I worked for a extremely well-respected and well-renowned waterproof manufacturer of kayak gear. And I got a really great, it was really great. It was really fun. And we manufactured everything on site, even the seam sealing machines, and we were Gore-Tex certified. And we were the only factory in the country certified to seam seal and manufacture all Gore-Tex products, which no one else had. So that was really cool. And so I'm looking for a pattern. I'm up for some suggestions. But we're going to learn a lot about what really works for rainwear and what doesn't work for rainwear. I see a lot of really cute coats out there, but they actually aren't very well suited for rainwear. So Terry, hi. You missed all the drama, Terry. You're right at the right time. So yeah, I have some samples coming from the Rain Shed. I say the because that's important when you look for Rain Shed online. The Rain Shed is their website. I looked at Seattle Fabrics, I looked at Rocky Woods, I looked at the Rain Shed, and I looked at, one more. One more. Well, it came up high in the search results. I've been buying from the Rain Shed for probably like 15 to 18 years. They kind of gave the mom and pop vibe, but I really like them because I know the fabrics are great because I know who they get them from. They get them from actual manufacturers of outerwear. In fact, I saw fabrics I worked on at Kokatat there, and they're still buying from them. So I know they're actual Gore-Tex fabrics. I like how they explain things, whereas those other sites did not explain anything. They even tell you if you want it to be waterproof, how you have to do that. Nice, Sydney. I ordered their little like sample. They have like sample bundles. A lot of these places do, which is really great. I was really hoping to find something at Seattle Fabrics, but I was kind of disappointed in their selection. It's really hard for these fabric companies to get actually really good waterproof, breathable fabric, because those companies like Gore-Tex don't sell retail. They do not sell to people who sell retail because it directly competes with their license holders, right? So, and I don't really know the details about that, so I really can't speak to that, and it changes probably all the time. So I just know that you'll see on the rain shed, they don't write the word Gore-Tex, but it looks kind of like the word Gore-Tex, like they put asterisks, in place of letters. So you know that that's what it is. They're not allowed to call it that. So anyway, the reason I like waterproof, breathable, which I can talk a lot about, is when you are hot in your jacket, which is basically like, if it's waterproof, it's like a trash bag, right? And if you had plastic on you, you would get hot and sweaty. That lets the moist air out. That's what the breathable part of it is. You cannot use it for masks, just so you know, because I know there were some people talking about that. Yes, Allison, I'm going to do a raincoat this fall. So I got some samples, and they're on their way. I went and checked, and they hadn't arrived yet. They'll probably arrive today or tomorrow. So I was just talking a little bit about that. So if you guys are interested in doing a raincoat this fall, and you want to know about what kinds of seam placement you want, and how to make it waterproof, I'm going to do that. I'm going to tell you that sewing it on your own, while you can get a really great jacket, the seam sealing part of it is a little bit janky home sew style. You have to kind of MacGyver it. There's this stuff called seam grip, and it works really great, but it's not seam tape. You cannot use seam tape with a home iron. It's not hot enough. So I see people do it, and I'm like, where'd they get that? So anyway. But it'll be fun, and we'll talk a lot about it if you guys are interested in that. I can kind of geek out on that kind of stuff because I really enjoyed that aspect of my career. That definitely was the kind of stuff that really tickled my brain. It was the like articulation of garments and the way the garment was used. I really like function. So anyway, so I'm gonna do raincoat soon. So if you guys are interested, and you're really serious about it, I would start looking for fabric now, and patterns that you might be interested in. I don't know what pattern I'm going to do. There's a good chance I may draft something from another pattern. So I'm just going to tell you that right off the bat, because I want something I really like, and I want it to last a really long time. So, all right. So the other thing I wanted to tell you about was Beverly emailed me a Pinterest link on a jelly roll hack, and I don't know about you. Did you guys see this little jelly roll I had at the time? This is how it's sewed up. It's super weird how the fabrics arrange themselves. It's not as pleasing as the jelly roll was, and I actually took apart sections and re-sewed it together. I mean, look at this. So cool, Melinda. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, you could do a windbreaker, and it doesn't have to be seam sealed, so. But one of the little Pinterest pins she sent me, they hacked their jelly roll and then like put it like V's and different things. And so I might do that with this. So I wanted to share that. Oh, if there is that one person out there waiting on the bin videos, they're very close, and the update to the pattern's really close, but I keep saying that and then I get evacuated. So, and I don't have internet at home sometimes. And apparently I don't have it here sometimes. So, okay, I made a really big Patreon post last week. If you haven't had a chance to read it, that really tells like a lot of things I'm going to be doing, some pattern ideas, free patterns for Patreons, patrons and patterns I might be working on for sale. So I'm always looking for feedback. And lastly, the pocket bucket and the wallaby patterns are almost ready for test sewing. So if you're interested, you can send me an email or a DM on Instagram, and I don't handle it. So it's very neutral. I give it to some gal that's super nice, Rachel from Oak Blue Designs. She's super great. So if you're interested, the wallaby, beginning friendly. The pocket bucket, not beginning friendly. So you got this fabric, Terry? It's good, huh? Okay, that's all my news. Oh, and then next week I'm going to be making the Alcott by Cashmerette. This will be sponsored by Hearts Fabric, which, like I said, the discount code changed to 10 so all lowercase, like these. And it'll be in this. This is like 10 pounds. This feather bamboo majiggy. I can't remember the fabric. It is bamboo and spandex. That's the technical thing for majiggy. All right. The cashmere patterns come in cup sizes, and it's for curvy sizes as well. They have been expanding their sizing to go down, so that'll be even inclusive to the non-curvy size segment, which is pretty exciting. I just read the sewing instructions for this. I wish I would not have put this off. This is going to be fun. So one of the things that's really cool is the bodice is lined. It's a fixed wrap, which I have to tell you guys, this is one of my secret things I never say. I don't like wrap garments. I love the way they look, but they rarely ever function. And I never see this one malfunction. And it's a very common thing for really new pattern companies to make their first pattern as a wrap. I feel like this is a getaway with not having to deal with fit issues. But the problem is then you're dealing with the wrap issue, and people always pin it, right? And I don't like that look. This one has elastic sewn all the way around the neckline, so you don't have to worry about that. Also, there is a 2-inch band of elastic right here in the midriff. It has lots of different views. This is the view I'll be making right here. So, anywho, I think this will be really cute. So, Allison, you know what's really funny? I worked at that company, Coquetat, off and on for years. Like, I worked for them employed as a designer. And then I went freelance, and then I just would work for them freelance and stuff. And when I finally moved away, they all gave me a raincoat. I lived in Humboldt County, where there's like inches and inches of rain. It's probably akin to Vancouver. So the redwoods are there and everything. This is like the northernmost coast of California is where I lived. I never owned a raincoat. Even when I was a full-time bike commuter, I had my homemade raincoat, which was great. But then when I started working at Coquetat, I was a little embarrassed to wear it because I put the seam grip on it on the outside because that's what you're supposed to do. And I just felt like they probably didn't want me to wear that. So they gave me one of the jackets that I designed. And the reason I never had it before is because it was geared towards kayakers, right? So there'd be like the technical pocket on the sleeve with the reflective tape, and it didn't zip all the way through. There's it was a pullover. I don't like pullovers, and that's just because that's more waterproofness. So they made me a full zip version and then detect a little bit of it. And I have that. I'll bring it when I sell the raincoat. I'll bring it for you guys, but it is fully it's delaminated now. It's hammered because that was like 20 years ago. And I'm probably using the same fabric though because I really liked it. It's really lightweight. I'm going to be using probably a 2-layer waterproof breathable, and we can talk about that when we get closer to it. So, all right, let's get to where you're really here. So, what do you guys think? Smooth sleeve or big puffy sleeve? Sydney, some of us just don't mind being wet. And I was one of those. You know what? I don't like the fuss of wearing a raincoat. I don't want one more thing to drag around. I don't even have a purse, you guys. Come on. And it's fussy. I don't know why, because it's more fussy to not. I have like my wallet, my lip stuff, my keys, my water bottle, my glasses, my phone. A purse would be so convenient. And I have one. I just rarely use it. And when I do, I forget things are in there. And then I'm like, I lost my wallet. Well, it's in my purse, you know, so. And a raincoat's just one more thing. But I do like having pockets to put my stuff in. So, all right. So I am leaning towards this cap sleeve, which means I'm going to use my sleeve block to draft it. And I drafting your sleeve from this thing here, this huge, really full sleeve, all the way down to this. It would be a lot, but you can kind of get the gist of what you're looking for. Yeah, exactly. Smooth, yeah. Yeah, right, Melinda? I know. I'm not a big fan of poofy, but like I like it on this dress, you know? I like this low ruffle, you know? I actually like the way this looks, you know? It's not as poofy. Like I could even see doing something like this, you know? So this is, if you're gonna try and make this sleeve into something smooth, that's the difference, if you can see it. I'm telling you, this sleeve ate this sleeve. So here's my block, and which I draped on the dress form. Yeah, exactly, Sydney. Yeah, and I am always just doing something like that. You know what I mean? I am a professional schlepper. This is how I feel now, especially with the like living out in the fire country. Ooh, yeah, Sydney, that's such a good question. Spoken like a true Seattleite. Yes, I probably would, right? Because I'm knitting one that would go really good with this, honestly. Yeah, and the poofy is a little trying under the cardigan. Good point. See, you guys are so smart. All right, so here we go. Allison, right? I do the exact same thing. I don't own a raincoat, but I will schlep clean, dry clothes with me. Which sometimes aren't dry when you get there because you got so wet, you know? And when I was a bike commuter, I would look like a drowned rat half the time when I got there. And I did wear a raincoat then, but like I said, and I actually wore a rain skirt. I highly recommend a rain skirt. So much easier to just put on and off. And I worked for this gal freelance developing her patterns. It was really fun. Very fun. Good stuff. Okay, so this sleeve, oh, I need paper. Dagnabbit. I don't know what happened to my paper. Oh, I could use Swedish tracing paper. Hearts gave me some Swedish tracing paper. I think I'll use that. I think I will use that. All right. I'm a little nervous about this plaid, you guys. It seems like it's going to be kind of a struggle to get it to match. All right, I'm just going to roughly trace this on here. My sleeve was slashed down the center, and so there's this ridge preventing me from folding it very well from when I was drafting it. If you want information on drafting a sleeve, I'm pretty sure there's a dedicated stream on how to draft a sleeve from measurements. So if you look on my website and maybe just type in sleeve. Here, let me check. Here we go. I can link it then for you. That way I can know if I'm a liar too. We did do a stream like that. I just don't remember if I posted it. How to sew, draping, whoops. I think this one is it. Yep, this is it. Oh, I need to change my chat to live chat just so I don't miss messages. And it changes all your name colors. All right, so when oh, nice, Melinda. When I was working on my basic block, I had my basic bodice, the front and the back, and then I drafted a sleeve using those measurements. And there's a link to that in there. So it's not like a, you know, teacher how to, but I feel like I do a pretty good job teaching you guys how to do things on the fly. What is that? Oh, it's this one. Okay. All right. So I measured my armhole on my Sagebrush top, and I compared it to the armhole on my block, and the Sagebrush is more fitted, interestingly enough. Really? Really, Sydney? I love that stuff. Shoot. That stuff's great. If you guys want linen fabric without the fuss of linen fabric, it's a mix. And I love that stuff. I think I made the Upton dress, the cashmere Upton dress in the red Brussels washer linen. Pretty sure. That stuff's great. It feels like linen, but it drapes like rayon, and so it's a mix, and it doesn't need as much ironing. Like, I don't even iron my red Upton dress. It looks fancy too, which is kind of funny. All right, so I'm gonna, let's see, how long do I want my sleeve? I think I want it about 8 inches. I need to make my armhole a little smaller too. You always want a right angle at the side seam, right there. Does that seem too short? Maybe I want it a little longer, because it is kind of a fall dress. I can always make it shorter, right? So you always want a right angle right here. I'm serious about that. Don't mess with me on the right angles. And then it's that armhole is 1 inch smaller, so I need to get rid of 1 inch in this armhole here. So I just need to take a 1/2 inch off there, and I actually think I'm gonna straighten it out here, and that way I don't really want it to be tapered. So now this is my new, I don't usually use Sharpies, but hey. All right, and then now I need a hem allowance. So, hi Nancy, nice to see you. So what have you guys been up to? Tell me your diversions. So now I pretty much have a right angle going there. Just make my little taper there. There we go. Oh, there's my... I was looking for my see-through ruler. Shoot, I took the little like band off my glasses so they wouldn't slip down my nose, and now they're slipping down my nose. Of course. Just gonna do the quick and dirty cutout method. These notches aren't going to match up to my Sagebrush, but that's okay because really I just want to know which is the front and which is the back. That's all. A little cutaway for the front there, and then I have my shoulder, which may not match up either. Ooh, a secret birthday outfit. That's nice. Oh, that's cool, Nancy. I was just working on my fit of mine yesterday, too. You worked my last Friday of the year. What does that mean? So now you have Fridays off? Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, it really is time to start thinking about any holiday gifts if you're making them, huh? I was thinking about, my daughter's 18th birthday is next month. But, you know, she just graduated high school, so she got a couple gifts then. Yeah, what quilt did you settle on? Oh, yeah, that work from home capsule by Tom Cat Stitchery, right? You're making the Remy top today? Okay, my notcher doesn't like this stuff. It's just too, it's not crisp enough, you know? And let's face it, I mean, how sharp can this thing really be? It's probably just like pressure that actually puts the notches in there. Let me put my green line on my sleeve. I'm gonna need something for this plaid. All right. All right, so I have my bodice and my sleeve now. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut out my bodice, all my pieces except for my skirt, and I'm gonna draft the skirt onto the fabric. And the ruffle I'll just use measurements for, because, you know, it's just a rectangle. So, all right, so I folded all this. I did for that sleeve, Nancy, because I couldn't find my paper. I like that stuff. I love it when the Swedish people were like, why is it Swedish? That kind of cracks me up. It's like when we say French seams and the French are all, we call those English seams. That stuff is so interesting. Okay, so what do we want the plaid to look like? I have my yoke taped here. And so do I want, you know, so I have a yoke, so it's like this lower. I don't think I want that big straight right down the middle because of the placement of these. Oh, yeah. Oh, Nancy, I love that auto-corrected for you. Now I know how you type. Work from home. I mean, it could be a WTF top, right? So maybe I'll put this in the middle. That's in the middle. I'm looking at myself in the camera. I'm gonna do the full screen. So I could go. See, if I put this right here, like that being the placket, it's just a little too heavy. It's so weird. I can't look at the camera because it's screwing up my left and my right. Okay, so, oh, you read WTF tops, exactly what it could be, right? Kind of like that. So, and then the yoke, I'm thinking I might do on the bias up here, but it's so big, I don't know if it would even really show. Do you like this in the middle? It just looks like a big, like, bullseye on me. Maybe something like that. But I really can tell, like, this is gonna be kind of a struggle. Maybe. I think I like that. What about on the bias? Is the Remy the yeah, that's what I was thinking, Sydney. Is the Remy a knit top? Yeah, exactly. Okay, the band of Plaid going across in the middle, but yes. What if it was like, I'm making sure I got the grain line correct too. The white in the middle. Yeah, I like the bias too. I think I like this. And then like the yoke above it. Maybe the yoke on the bias. I mean, it's not much space, right? Like, I don't have to sweat it too much, but. All right. So this is the cut out one at a time. So if this is my center front, I still need I need a placket. I need a placket. I didn't add a placket to my center front yet. There is one to the yoke though. All right, so we'll just tape this on here. This is my center front line. So this would have been on the fold. And then the yoke, I added, what was it? Here we go. So if you missed it the other day, now it looks like suspenders. Oh, the woven raglan. Okay, raglan, yeah, okay. You're cheating. That's okay, though. That's good. You're just building, you know? So, this is the original center front. Oh, you can't see that. This is the original center front line. And I want to have a placket here on the front rather than on the back. The back is a slit with a binding tie, which is really cute. I'm going to make a full-blown placket all the way down because I like buttons and buttonholes. Not really, but, you know. So I decided how much I wanted my placket to finish, how wide I wanted it. And I wanted it about 7/8 of an inch, so that's how I got this. This isn't enough. I'm kind of rethinking this. This is my center and my overlap. I need more. Let's see here. I think I set it correctly on Saturday, but I didn't measure it out correctly. Let's see here. So if this is the point where your shirt meets, right? So if this was on the fold, it would be like right here, the center line. Right here, right? So if this were, you know, on the fold, be like that. So everything extra is my placket. So I need an extension so that it can overlap, right? And then there's space for buttons and buttonholes. So my extension I added here was a little over a 1/2 inch. So wait, what is this? Is this my fold line? Whoa, what did I do here? So I want my placket to be about 7/8 of an inch. So this should be about right here. That's my fold line. I'll bet maybe that's correct. Let's see. I'll explain it again. Yeah, and I think I explained it correctly, but I didn't do it correctly. Oh yeah, that's what it is. So I just put that notch in the wrong spot. So if this is the point where your shirt already met, right? This is the center line, You're going to take the amount you want your placket to finish, the width. So say you want your placket to finish 1 inch. You're going to extend a 1/2 inch out from the center line. Mine is not that because I want it a little narrower. So 1/2 inch out. And then you need to add enough to fold back to go past this. So basically this half, plus the amount you're turning it back. So that basically this right here that you turn back is your finished placket width plus the amount you're going to turn it under. Now you could turn it under to fill up the placket and you don't need interfacing. I actually kind of like that idea. Maybe I'll do that because it does save you on fiddliness. I'm all about saving on fiddliness. So let's see here. So we have our 7/8 of an inch. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I don't know what this line is. This is my fold line. And I think I'm going to add so that I can not put interfacing in there. I don't like interfacing. You also want to, you can do this one way, but I just like to fold it when I'm kind of doing it just one off. It's not for a client, to find out the contour of the neckline. What is this? I just need to get rid of this piece of paper. This is really confusing me. All right, here we go. So this is my fold line. This is my fold line, right here. Here. This gets turned back. And then I have 1/4 of an inch to turn under. Turn. This is so messy, sorry. Not a good tutorial. I don't need the 1/4 inch actually. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's get rid of that. I don't need the 1/4 inch because I'm turning it twice. And then I mean, it doesn't really matter. My neckline is pretty flat and straight right there, but it can. You know what I mean? That's cool, Malin. You like them that much? Ooh, Sydney. But you know, Sydney, you could cut that waistband off and then add a new one. And then you can just have the ones that fit you the correct way. Just make sure you leave seam allowance for your new waistband. All right, so I'm gonna get rid of this and this because this is hecka confusing now. I don't know where my little notcher tool just went. Well, this one's a little better anyway. Oh, here it is. Okay. I will understand that. I know my craziness, you know? Okay. So basically, I'm going to add the same amount as this, which is 2 1/4 plus. My pencil isn't very sharp. I can tell when I tape these two pieces together, I didn't get this line perfectly straight. Trying to rectify that a little now. All right, so here's my placket. And then the notches will be, I'm just gonna add them down here because these two seams will get sewn together and it won't even matter otherwise. There we go. I wish the Swedish tracing paper liked my notcher more. Hey Megan, how's it going? Which is the ones I'm doing? Oh, I'm doing the Hudsons. So I'm doing the Hudsons for hearts as well. I know Megan's interested in that, right? Okay, here we go. I have these pattern pieces here as reminders. So I have I just cut off a piece of the bias pattern piece, and then here's the ruffle as well. So basically I just have those 4 pieces plus the sleeve. One thing you can do, one strategy, if you kind of get into a pickle matching plaids or stripes or things and it works, you can put pieces on the bias. It takes more fabric, but at the same time, if you're having a problem like, okay, this is gonna look really weird not matching it, but if I match it, it's almost impossible to get your piece to fit on there. You can put it on the bias, even if it's stripes or plaid or whatever, you know. It's a good way to get around it, and it's pretty cute. Just remember that the bias is stretchy, so if you have to, if it's kind of in a piece that shouldn't stretch out or shouldn't stretch much, like with wear or time, then you could line it. Even if you just line it with a piece of fabric that you're not like clean finishing, you're just treating it as one behind it to stabilize it, kind of like you're interfacing it, you know. So I thought that said potato, Swedish potato. Okay, so this is on the fold. Let's do our front first. So we're talking about this being the center front there. And so because this right here is my fold line, we're gonna have to start drawing some lines on our paper here, our pattern piece. So this right here is the finished edge of my placket. So you know, I could make it so that this is the down the center, on the center line, you know, or I think that that might be the most pleasing. So this would be right down the center. This band right here, would that would go straight across here. Is that what we're looking for? Right? That works. I don't really want this line at the waist because it's gonna look crooked if I put it there, because the waistline isn't straight. I mean, look at it, it even creeps into the waist. So let's see. I'm thinking like here. I'm gonna kind of lift it up and make sure. This is gonna be a little tedious. Just gonna warn you guys. I'm going to try not to worry about the amount of fabric I have, but I feel like I have enough. You know? I can put a ruffle here or down here. I do wish my table was bigger right now. This seems pretty wide. So I can get one there. I don't think I can get my back in there. So if I do this, do I use more fabric? I use more fabric going this way, so maybe this is a better bet, cutting it here. Let's see where it lands on the other side. It's the same. Let's see how it fits when I fold it. I'm just checking fabric usage right now just to kind of get an idea of what's going to happen. Ideally, on 2 rows, I would really like to get both my sleeves and my bodice. So let's say that's there. See, I'm not going to get anything else across. Yeah, I don't want to do the big band here because it'll be really obvious if it's not straight. In fact, I actually want to lower this down a little bit more. It would fit so much better if I use this band and down the center. See, if I did that, but would it? I could get a sleeve. All right, so let's just walk ourselves through. So let's say that this is I use that. Could I get my yoke? I could get my yoke on the bias if that's how I want it. This is right here, right here. I can maybe, I'm like super focusing, forgetting about chat, sorry. Okay, so if I do that, that line right there is on here, this line kind of falls off. Why do I keep losing my ruler? I thought I had 2. I'm gonna put a bias line on here. Oops. I'm gonna put 2. Sometimes I do that and I'm like, oh, I was over rotating that, you know? Yeah, I do too. This was the Sagebrush top, Megan. And I kind of hacked it into a dress. I didn't kind of hack it. I hacked it. I hacked it. So now the other thing to think about, if you really want to go down this rabbit hole, is if it's a one-way plaid or not. And this is not a one-way plaid. That works in my favor. It just means you have to kind of really trust in your plaid sensibilities if you have them, which, you know, plaid sensibilities, is that a thing? So I could start turning pieces upside down, and theoretically it's the same, right? Because it's the same going this way and the same going this way. It's the same going this way and this way. So that is one thing I can do. Just under the left side of the front piece. Right here. I'm just trying to like, and I could even move this down a little. You know? How did I do that before? Like this? So if this line is there, oh, that right there, that is there. That's what I was trying to do. Look at that, how much I really need to rotate it. Like this, Michelle. So theoretically, I could do that, right? No, wait. I'm just thinking, do I match the plaid or not? Like, I probably shouldn't match the plaid on the bias because the distance across this is longer than it is there. You know what I mean? Pretty, you know, that's 3 3/4, and that's 2 7/8. So not matching it is probably a good idea. So what if I just, you know, put this where I want it, put this straight down the center. Did you mean left, Michelle, as if I'm looking at it? So right here? Or did you mean as you're wearing it? So let's picture what this would look like. This would be my yoke when I'm looking at it, right? So this is my yoke. I don't know, that's kind of weird, honestly. I almost think putting like that on the yoke right there would be more pleasing. Or that, you know? What if and I can slide this, I could slide this away from here so I don't have to worry about the straightness. You know, like, look, here's my bias lines. Do you know what I mean? Like, what if this was, like, right here? This, like, little cross. It's kind of cute. I could put one here and one there, I think. And I'd have these two crosses right here, you know, these plus signs. Can you see that? You probably can't see it. That could work. Would it fit though? Okay, so what if... Okay, my other option is I sew the placket on. And then I gain back all this. That's pretty tempting, eh? Because then I could do a bias placket. What if I did a bias placket? What if down the whole center front, right? This was plaid. Oh my God. You know? And then this was all not. And then the bias would be plaid. I mean, the bias would be bias. That could work. And then I can cut off all the way to like here. And then sew on my placket. It does mean my placket has to be on the bias though. So I have to be able to get long pieces on the bias. That's kind of scary. That's kind of scary. Let's say I'm able to get my dress in, let's see. I'm going to say, all right, Patty. Ed, what does Ed mean? I'm going to, you like that? You like that? The bias placket? I do too. So I'm going to see if I have, I'm going to pull off what I think I'll use for my skirt and see what's left, okay? Oh, it's not even that much, 37. All right, so all right, so for my skirt, that is my line. Dang, that's a big seam allowance. I could also get rid of some seam allowance. All right, so if this is my 16 and minus 37 is 21, right? So, oh yeah. Well, shiver me timbers. Okay, I have a lot of fabric, pretty sure. So let's just pull off what we think we'll use for a skirt, and I'll even be a little generous. That leaves like all of that for my bodice. You guys. I have so much fabric, I can do whatever I want. Let's do it. Okay, so what do we want to do? How do I have so much fabric? That makes me so nervous. Is it because it's so wide? Oh yeah, it's 56 inches wide. Yeah. That is like, I feel rich. You know, it's like when you have a lot of postage stamps. Tetris no more, even though that is one of my favorite all-time games. All right, so let's see here. So we have the bodice there. I think I'm gonna do it like that. I kind of like this band being low. Right, Derek? We could be matchy-matchy. I think he would like this. This might be kind of a big plaid for him. I feel like I got a fabric he really liked recently. Exactly, Terry. Yeah, it feels luxurious. I know this fabric was a pretty penny. But someone very kind gave me one of you guys gave me a gift card, and I'm pretty sure this is from Stone Mountain and Daughter, and this is what I got with my gift card. I don't, Michelle. I don't have to, but I could. I could, what that actually lets me do is put the placket on the bias. I was going to do the placket on the bias thinking, oh, that'll save me space on my pattern pieces, but then I realized, oh my gosh, I got to put the placket on the bias. That's going to go straight across my fabric. That cannot happen, right? That could potentially not work. So what I could do is cut out my bodice and my yoke, and then cut my skirt, cut all my pieces, and if I have enough, I could cut off the placket and then put a bias placket on. So I have options. That's a little more wasteful, but you're gonna, like, sometimes you're wasting the fabric. You're not wasting fabric, but you're using the fabric either way, you know? So you can be nice to yourself and just say, okay, I'm going to get what I want. All right, so I'm going to get this away from this line right here. Because I don't want a big plus sign right here. I think I'm just going to leave it at that right there. Put it along that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my plaid on here. This is one strategy I was taught, you know. So I'm going to try and make sure that everything is pretty straight. I can see there's a line on the pattern right here. So I'm going to make sure that it's parallel to this line on the fabric. And then I'm going to draw this orange line right here, right on the fabric, like this. Like that. I just give myself some little like I'll stop drawing on here. Some reminders. All right, let's do it. Let's cut. All right. Just making sure it's all the way loose before I start peeling away. Okay. So then I'm going to put my notches. My notches. My notches. Okay. The heck. All right. Now the other thing you can do is just take this piece and cut out your other one. I honestly can't even tell the difference between the right and the wrong side, but I'm gonna pretend like there's a difference. So yeah, that's what they teach you how to do in college. They teach you to draw on your pattern pieces. They say that, well, I mean, like before things were all computerized and automated, that's what they would do when they cut out plaids and things like that, mass produced. They would draw it on there, or they would take a snippet of the fabric and then glue it to the pattern pieces. You got to remember, like, this is a time when there wasn't like scanning and stuff like that, and that's how they would do it. This is wiggly. This line looks wiggly. I can see it. Nowadays they would have the fabric, like on a really big production scale, they would have the fabric scanned into the computer, and there'd be some sort of magic involved, you know. So I never worked somewhere with that kind of software. I did work places with CAD and systems, but they come in a variety of hugeness, meaning like on capabilities, just like anything. And I worked for some pretty big companies, but it doesn't mean we still had all that stuff. That stuff was really expensive at the time. All right, so my notches, notch, notch, notch. I need one more. Where is it? There it is. All right. So I'm going to pin these so I don't forget, but I mean, I pretty much know that's the center front, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, it's really easy to think like that's the bust, that's the yoke, that's the armhole, side seam, the bottom, right? But it's like this. Sewing tragedies. Okay, so let's see. Now I think I will just do my yoke on the straight grain now, which means I need to match it to this. All right. I'm matching it at the seam allowance. Gosh darn it. It's really not going to fit there, is it? I think I'm going to let that slide because the seam allowance is so gigantic. All right, so let's peel back one of these. Now you know why I don't ever do this on camera, because it's so labor intensive. It takes so long. You know? All right, so I'm putting my ruler at the overlap there, like this. That already looks bigger. Okay. This is basically cutting this little yoke in almost what is scrap of the fabric. So I still have options if I want to change my mind. It's not scrap, but you know what I mean. Like, it's pretty out here, over here. All right, there's one. Now this is how we can test if it's symmetrical. You know, with the plaid. If I put this upside down, I'm gonna get a plus sign. Maybe the ruffle will soften that. What about right here? Ooh. Can I get it? Can I get it? Can I get it? Wow. This linen is gonna grow, grow, grow. That's fine with me. She love my little, like, triumphant. It's the little things, right? I really want to make sure this isn't hard to match, though. Okay. Should we look at it? I hate that my glasses keep slipping down my nose. All right, so theoretically, this is how it will look when it's buttoned up. So far, and then it'll be gathered right here. Notches. I got the notches. Thanks, Michelle. They're only at the neck right here. Oh, wait, on that piece. You're right. I didn't get those. How do I feel about that plus sign right there? I think it's okay because it's right here too. This is going to be so cute. I'm so excited. I think I deserve a pet squirrel. I've been asking for a pet squirrel for a while now. Oh, speaking of pet squirrels, I wonder if Ray's watching. I know Ray likes her animal live feeds. All right, transfer my notches. Thanks, Michelle. This looks crooked. Ay caramba. Like it looks off grain crooked. All right. All right, this is my front. Okay. We survived the front. I don't even know what I did with it. Oh, it fell on the ground. Okay. Great. Whoops. Oh, Sydney. Are you having kitty dreams in the form of hamsters? That's funny. Your kitties are really cute. All right. Oh, I hate it when I'm crowded over here. I just keep migrating, you know what I mean? Okay. So here is my front and my yolks. I'll cut all that off in a second. You know me, I'm always cutting that stuff off, but I'm gonna see if it ends up being continuous once I do the back. Doubt it, since the back's on the fold. Excuse me. Yeah, they wouldn't. Ray. Oh, you're not feeling good. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're following this girl's a squirrel. Yeah, so cute. Yeah, I hope you feel better too, Ray. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just saw your Sorrento bucket hat today. That's really cute. So cozy. I love that. That looks good. I like that. Oh, here's a pin. Let's get rid of that. All right. Okay, so here's my front. And we're going to match it over here. Like this. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys, you can really drive yourself crazy trying to match plaids. Nowhere to draw the line, okay? So I'm gonna match it going this way. I am not going to keep continuing the plaid from the side seam because it won't, most likely it won't work. Sometimes it does, so it makes you think that it always does, but it doesn't. It just depends on the repeat of the plaid, right? So the reason I say that is if I were just to continue the side seam, and look at the difference in this side seam, by the way. The side seam's probably not going to match that well. This side seam is straight. This one's at an angle because of that massive dart that I put at the waist, right? So already, look at that. This line right here, even if I put it, point to point, it's just not going to, because this is going to have to sew over here like this. You see that? It'll almost look like it's matching, which is fine. That's fine with me. It's the side seam. But I say this because say you were like, oh, I'm just going to do it piece by piece, just like Sarah was doing. I'm going to do piece by piece, right? And then you put your back on there. Well, now see, this is proving me wrong right now, but I promise you I have seen this. If this plaid didn't center, and the fold line here didn't end up in the center of this plaid, which is kind of crazy that it does, you would end up having this off center on your back, right? So what if I had laid this out so that, and honestly, like, it is kind of, if you wanted to match this, where would you place this? Would you actually place this corner in the middle of here? you know, and then it would put the center past the center of this plaid. So really what I'm going to worry about is where the placement of this plaid is on the center of my back. And I'm going to put that probably down the center, just like that. And then line it up this way as far as matching and sewing goes. And I know I've told you guys this story, but I did literally watch my bosses go crazy matching plaid. He was already on the brink of kind of kookiness. Most designers are. And he was convinced he could get the tartan fabric, very small tartan, by the way. The repeat was maybe a 1/2 inch. We're not talking a big plaid. It was so small you could have gotten away with barely matching anything. And he wanted all of the plaid to match: shoulders, side seams, center fronts, center back, whatever, darts, impossible, and waist seams, and it was a pleated skirt, and he wanted every pleat to match to the bodice. That is actually mathematically impossible on certain sizes, right? Because you can actually figure it out that it'll be like maybe every 4th one won't work if you're lucky and all the other 3 do. So don't drive yourself crazy trying to match the plaid. Go for the big picture. Look at your centers. Look at what people are going to look at. Look at it as if someone else was looking at you and what you, or you were looking at someone else and you would be fine with, right? So just don't drive yourself crazy. That guy, he was a former engineer for a really big plane manufacturer, and they started this mother-daughter dress wear company. And he would say things like, I put parts on the moon, I can get this to match. And he would have me sit there and consult. He would spend days, and I'm not exaggerating on this, and I would say, well, this was me. I was 19, 20 years old, and even I knew math-wise, eventually it's not going to work out, but that my brain can work that way. And so I would just be like, well, that doesn't seem like that would work unless your grade rule is exactly the same, everything's growing exactly the same, and the repeat matches up. You know, like, it gets really mathy. I love mathy. He loved mathy. But you can't make it do something it won't. So don't drive yourself crazy. Be nice to yourself, your future self. Okay? All right, so I'm going to focus this on the center here. And I think, like, if I had this on the center here, right, let's see, and I wanted this to match, where's this hitting? So like this center front is going to be right here. Do I, you know, drop this down like that? Then it would match it all. So let's try and do it about right here. I'm going to look at right here. This amount right here and this amount right here. That's what I'm going to focus on. All right. You might have fits. Yeah, I was just thinking about the vinyl shield thing. I'd forgotten about that. We were talking about that. I know, Ray, but he wasn't accepting it. Yeah, exactly, Terry. And you know, I think also just trying to think ahead. I've definitely made so many matching mistakes where I'm like, how did I not think of that? You know what I mean? And then maybe had to recut a piece out. So it's just, there's just usually unforeseen things, and not every plaid and repeat is the same. So you just have to allow for that. And it's really hard to buy fabric and know, like, oh God, I really want that fabric. It's really expensive. How much extra should I allow for matching? What I would do is at least allow, if it's a really big repeat, I would allow like 2 repeats extra. Hopefully that's enough. Hey, Sherry. I know, Sherry, right? I know, we really beat ourselves up, and then you look in your wardrobe and you're like, why did I care so much? I've been wearing this shirt for 5 years and it doesn't match, and I didn't notice till now. So yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna put this like this so I don't accidentally go down the fold with my knife. Who, me? Trying to get this to stay straight right here. Yeah, that was an interesting place to work. I finally, like, that was one of the first of many places I worked where when you start to realize the crazy, you start planning your exit strategy. And I was young, you know. I was young, and I really liked the wife. And she had that look in her eyes of, please don't leave me alone. And it was a very intimate work environment. You know, I was just desperate to work in the industry doing stuff. They were a startup. They didn't know what they were doing either. And so they were happy to have someone, even if it was just a student, because I was still in school, working for them. So it was great, you know, on the whole. I worked in their home sewing and doing some pattern drafting consulting, basically. But yeah, it was kind of a hot mess. I remember, like, he used to always put down where my parents lived. And I was just like, whatever, dude, I don't live there, and they can live wherever they want, you know? Why do you care? I didn't know his mom lived up there. I don't know, the guy was a weirdo. Okay, so I'm actually going to use this one to cut the other one out. I'm going to fold it down the middle of this plaid. You know, the irony in that is that they eventually, like years later, moved up to where my parents lived in the high desert. Not here. I think that they ended up getting divorced too, which is pretty sad, but maybe a good thing. I don't know. I was young. But I thought I remember going, but wait, I thought you hated it up here. So I remember their kids worked. You know, their kids, it was in their house. And they had a big house, so they had dedicated areas for work. But the kids would pop in now and again, which was totally fine to me. And I remember one time we went down into the kitchen to have lunch, and she said, no, she told me this story. She said, yesterday I came downstairs and the microwave's going. The kitchen lights were off, but the microwave was just going. And she walked up to it, she looked inside, and she said there was one marshmallow sitting in the middle of the microwave. And so she stopped it, and she said there was still like a half hour left on the timer. Like, it'd been going for a while, apparently. She opened it up, and she went and touched the marshmallow, and it went, it just kind of just evaporated into dust. So her little boy had put a marshmallow in he was probably like 4 at the time. Pretty cute. Yeah, Ray, I worked for many family businesses, and after the third one, I said no more, ever again. Even to this day, I just wouldn't. And that one was so bad. The worst part was, it shouldn't have been. It was run by women, which was really cool, and they were the most toxic people to each other. I just couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle people talking to each other like that. Okay, so this is how my side seam is going to be. That's what's going to happen. How do we feel about that? You know? And then when it's gathered up, it'll be a little bit more like that. It's okay. I think that this, sherry, I actually don't know. It might be a blend. It is some sort of linen though. I'm sorry, I'm really bad about telling you guys fabric. I'm not sponsored by people usually, so I don't really take that information. So, and I try to because I know some of you are interested in it. I don't mind promoting people at all. It's right under my arm. What's right under my arm? Don't scare me like that. What's right under my arm? All right. So, I'm going to set this here. I'm really worried I'm going to lose these pieces. All right, so now I'm going to work on my sleeve, cutting my sleeves out. I'm still leaving those really long pieces for ruffles. Oh man, my neck and shoulders are really tight today. I don't need this, I need this right here. I had a cute headband on today, but it started giving me a headache. We can live with it? Cool, thanks, Terry. Alright, so let's look at my plaids for the sleeves. Oh, I don't have my back yoke. You guys, I need my back yoke. And it's probably going to go, it probably needs to be like right here. I'm trying to look for a good spot. It might fit there. Yeah, it's right under my arm. You're right. Exactly. I see what you're saying. Yeah. I'll just do this and I won't do jumping jacks. Exactly. I'll do them like this. What do I want? I want my back. This is my front. This is my back. These are my yokes. You know what I want? I want a bin. I'll just put him in this, my box. I'm just loving this little box. Okay. Now they're safer. All right, so I'm going to match my yoke. I will put a ruffle on the back. Dang, I don't even have the skirt cut out yet. I'm already getting hungry. Okay, here we go. Try and get this line straight. And then put my ruler on here, 1.25 inches. Like that. I mean, one good thing about the that doesn't look like a right angle. The linen is that it I guess this is a good thing. You can kind of manipulate it a little bit because it's so stretchy, loosey goosey, you know. You guys are really holding me, like, I feel like you're making me do this so much better than I normally would. I probably would have put these on the bias and been more lazy about it. Like, I get really impatient. I just want to get to the sewing, you know? Even though the cutting is pretty creative in my opinion now. Alright, so there's my yoke. Oh, really? Well, I don't know if I want to be matchy matchy with her husband. Right, right. Make a bucket hat for Cricket. And don't forget the dogs, you know. Alright, so this is scrap. Alright, so now I have, this is my back. I'm trying to decide what to use for my sleeve. I really want to chop this off, but you just never know. So, here's my look at that, how different they are from each other. Is that okay? So I gotta decide if I want my sleeve to match the plaid here, or do I just, you know, match it this way. That angled side seam has really put me in a pickle for this, because this has brought this, what was it, up, you know. So if this were here, this one, yeah, was down lower like that. It really brought it up because of that angle. So what I could do is just make the sleeves look good, right? Just like put the plaid centered. Maybe worry about where the armhole hits. 1, 2. Three. Okay. The armhole. You know, because this is going to get sewn into there. It's kind of tricky. All right. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to center it down the middle and put this about an inch above this line right here, the armhole point. Oh, yeah. That makes me think we should all do like a Christmas card swap. Awkward family photos, you know, with home sewn garments. All right, so I think, yeah, like that. Now, do I straighten out my sleeve hem? Do I straighten out my sleeve hem so the plaid line isn't wavy? Oof. I might do that, and then I'll decide when I'm wearing it if I need to do the curve. Because I could just make this a little fuller, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to put this as my center, the notch as my center. Because this is the shoulder seam. But is it though? I'm going to have to trust that it is. Because I use my block. Oh, I can't tell because these are yoke pieces. Darn it. Okay. Yeah, I could be way forward. This makes me nervous. Look how much different that is. Ooh, I hope this armhole works. I'm kind of having doubts. Okay. All right, so the center is more like right here. Okay. That's interesting. All right, I'm gonna draw a line. Right, Nancy? You get the look. Yeah, exactly. High levels of stress. Is that website still around, that Awkward Family Photos website? You see how this is going from this point, like here to here? Did I really get that straight? No, I didn't. Look at that. I could tell I didn't get it straight. Let's get this off of my fabric before one of you yells at me. Okay, so I'm gonna put this about 1.25 inches above this line here. I'm gonna put my center and take a chance about right here. Oh boy, that makes me so nervous. I want this line to be parallel to a plaid line. That kind of puts it on this orange line. That makes it easier. All right. So if that's the center. Right there. Okay. Oh boy. Not like cutting plaid to make you feel incompetent. I'm going for it because I'm getting impatient. You don't come here for a couture. I'm going to cut it on the plaid line right here. Maybe I could borrow Jill for a photo shoot, right, Ray? That would go so good with my dress. Jill, I could boop her belly. Except for right angles. Yeah, don't mess around with right angles. Okay, so here's my sleeve. I flipped it over. Can I get one over here? Of course I can't. But let's see if I can do this. Oh, so close, so close, so close. Is there anything here? I'm still trying to conserve fabric. You know, I'm not that foolhardy. Yeah, I kind of am, but still, I am still trying to conserve some fabric. All right, so where's my back? That's my front, that's my back. Okay, so I'll make sure I flip it so that they're symmetrical. And then we're gonna do the skirt. All right. today I could really use some music, you know? Yeah, so one thing I've learned about editing hours and hours of videos of me is I say all right way too much. Really annoying now. I need to come up with alternatives. You know what I mean? I know her little paws look so delicate until you see them. They're vicious. It's fine. Everything's fine. I don't know. I don't really feel like that lately. My husband yesterday was like, so, how are you doing? I was like, yeah, I'm not doing okay. I mean, you know, just because I feel like I don't want to go home right now. And I hate that feeling because home's really important to me, like it is for most people, you know? But it's just like, I feel betrayed, you know what I mean? Like, finally feel at home here, living in this house. And now I feel betrayed because I worry about the fire type stuff. I drive up and it's smoky and my throat is so raw, you know, I'm just tired of it. So there's one going. Really, Nancy? That's so funny. I want to see that. All right, so I think I'm just going to work from the other end of the fabric because I think this will be great for ruffles. I could just cut some of my ruffles right now, you know, but I'm kind of debating on whether they'll match or not, and I just don't think they will. So I think what I'll do actually is I'll just match it at the center front, and I need two. So basically I need this one. I'm trying to decide because I'm going to stop it. Am I though? Maybe I won't. I think it'll go all the way up to the placket edge. I'm going to think about this. Right, Derek? Yeah, I'm learning to hesitate after saying something just in case I want to edit something out. And I sometimes say the same thing over again so that just in case that stretch before of me going around something, I could just edit it down, you know? But I say, all right, let's get going. All right, now we're ready to do this. All right, now we've done this. You know, and it's like, it's filler, you know, so. I work on other things and I didn't notice that one. And so I'm a little like, oh, I've been doing that too. So, yeah. I was just about to say it. Now I don't even want to say it. I'm getting good about also, like, sometimes I don't just edit it out. I just, it starts fading and going into the next segment. So. Oh, Melinda. My daughter walked in on me the other day and she was like, I could not do that. Like, just watching me watch myself was bugging her. Yeah, it's a thing. I just try and be objective. I think of you guys and I think like what you would say if I said that. You know. You guys. I often think about how polished some people's videos are, and I think, well, that's just not me, you know? I really want to get my ruffle in here, but it's just not going to happen, is it? I kind of want to do it right this. Like, this looks so appealing. You know? Can I get that? I have to think about this. I'm getting too hungry to think about that. So we're just going to do the skirt. All right, so let's just cut this piece off. You know? And we have that piece. So I still need neck binding and the ruffles, which I might just do at the bottom of the fabric, you know. I saw this really great post on So Over 50, one of the guest posts a couple weeks ago, on a gal who started doing YouTube videos. And I just loved her enthusiasm and encouragement, and just, you know, telling people, like, don't worry about it. Just do it. Like, you can't sit there and worry about all those things. And it's true. But she was also doing it so casually, and it made me envious. It made me envious, like, oh, she doesn't have the full setup with the picture-in-picture. Like, I didn't look at her videos, to be honest, but I just saw, like, snapshots on the post. And I thought, God, that sounds so much easier. She uses her phone, and then she, you know, publishes it. And it's like, that sounds pretty good. They're also not live. That's a little different. Yeah, it's true, Nancy. I mean, but sometimes, you know, people aren't looking for that. And there's probably a lot of people that watch my videos that could care less about the live streams and my personality. They just want the information, you know. But something like my own pattern, like the bin, you're going to get my personality, you know, because it's my pattern. It's kind of hard to avoid that. Okay, so I'm fiddling. Here. I need a front. I need a back. Yeah. So the easy thing to do would be to just cut a rectangle, gather it up, right? And make it like a ratio of gathers to your bodice that you want. Like I was saying on Saturday, I think you don't want to go much below 1.5, but if you want something very not full, 1.5. So basically you would take this measurement and add half of it to it, right? That would be like your minimal amount. Doubles quite a bit. So it's like anywhere between that 1.5 and double the width, you know? So like say we wanted to show, you know, like how much that would be like this right here being gathered into this much. So this would be double. Right. All right, Michelle, nice. Thanks for coming. Oh, I'm really glad. That's really nice to hear. That's why I do it. In fact, I heard when my date is for my So Over 50 guest post, and I gave them all kinds of topics, and they actually picked live stream. So I'm going to tell people like why watching live streams is something I really enjoy, you know. So I think that is it, right? Like seeing the interaction and how people can ask questions. So it is something I'm going to talk about. All right, so that would be like double, and that would be enough. These are really big like gathers, right? So that would be enough. So, and I pretty much can't get a front alongside the back, so I could probably just go straight across, you know, and I have plenty of fabric to match. I would definitely go from the center out. So now for my front, but what I was thinking is doing something less gathered. Like that, you know? And doing more of an A-line, which is what I want. My stomach would like a rectangle because I'm hungry, because that would be fast and easy. But my sewist would like this, you know? That's right, Ray went back and watched a lot of the old ones. That's so awesome. I know sometimes I will go and look for a clip from one, and I'll see you guys pop up, and I'm like, oh, it's baby Beverly. It's little Nancy. I'm just teasing. Okay. So let's see. If I wanted to just put gathers at the in those gather spots of the bodice. Basically what I need, could I get away with the blower being the same width and then they gather up like this and an A-lines? I think I could do that actually. Well, that sounds pretty easy. You know? That sounds nice and easy. Where's this at on the repeat scheme of things? It's right above this line, right here. Okay, so this is where it's at, about right here. Oh yeah, there it is, there it is. I see the line right here. Okay. I cut it on that line, that's right, okay. But I don't have enough for an A line right there. So we're going to go all the way over. I feel like looking back on my videos that I've aged a lot, which cracks me up. I think it's funny. All right, so what I did before stream was I measured the length that I want. And when I measure a length, like say you're like, oh, how long should I make my skirt of my dress? The thing is, you can't just measure a dress and say, oh, the waist seam to the hem is 20 inches. You have to measure from the shoulder to the hem, because the waist seam on that dress may be higher or lower, and you may end up not with the length that you want. So what I always do is I measure from my high point of shoulder, sometimes called HPS on a pattern. And like this shoulder seam goes too far back, like it should be about right here. If you really want to get precise, you can pin your cut pieces of your bodice together, kind of figure out where that shoulder line is, but you're going to be within an inch. So I just put my tape measure right here, high point, so it's closest to my neck, and the point at the shoulder intersection of my neckline and my shoulder seam. And then I measure straight down to the hem that I want. For me, that was 37 inches. And so then what I did was I measured my bodice. It's 16, so I took that off the 37. I end up with 21. And I'm going to add a little bit so I have some wiggle room, of course, right? So I'm going to do like a 23-inch skirt cut lengthwise. So, oh gosh, me too, me too, Nancy. Yeah. You're cheating on me, Ray. An off-grid Swedish couple, then they had to be. That's so funny. You got to tell us about these other things you watch. We love it. You probably have kittens on right now too. All right, so 23 would be about, I just kind of want to ballpark plaid-wise. It's like an inch above this orange line right here, but I'm going to do an A line from the side seam out. I'm going to gather it there and cross my fingers. So I think what I'm going to do actually is cut this length of fabric off. So I'm only dealing with this piece right now. Now I decided to start with the back because it's easier, and I may run into some trouble because of that, because like you saw how my side seam is really angled on my front, so the plaids are definitely matching up differently. Look at all this fabric I have. I feel like they gave me an extra yard. You do, Mavis. Your 6 babies. Yeah, I can only watch half of that debate, you guys. I just was... That kind of talking over each other is really stressful for me. I love communication so much, and it's so infuriating when people can't communicate. Good night, Malin. I'll see you Saturday, maybe. Sleep well. Make room for all of us. We're all moving, we're all moving in soon. I don't really want to put this on the fold. honestly. I want to just draft this. I just want to figure out where the center of this is. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is about the center of this piece of fabric. So I'm just gonna pick this one right here. Okay. Right? And then it's that right there. So we wanted about, I'm gonna cut 1.25 inches above right there. All right, so that's about 1/2 inch above this yellow line. That's why we allowed so much. Did we get enough? Yeah. Inch and a quarter. So that would be, yeah, so it'd be right there. This is what I want. I want to cut this 1 3/4 above this line. All right. And then my plaid will continue. So that's kind of cool. You know? Okay. One 3/4. So I'm basically just getting my piece just to the plaids, you know, and then I'm going to work on this A-line thing that I'm talking about. I don't really need to go all the way over here. I will end up using most of this piece though. So I picked this to be my center here, right? I'll probably make it pretty full at the bottom. So that's my center. Where's my side seam? That's what I'm looking for right now. So this is my side seam right here. My problem with this is that it makes the hemline not straight. You know what I mean? So this is the only thing. So here's my A-line, right? This is A-line when there's no gathers up here and it still flares. But what happens right here is if you were to cut an A-line, so that's what the pattern piece looks like too. Right, here's some darts. All right, so this pattern piece here, you know, it looks like this. And if it's a plaid, right, it goes like this. You can see the problem. If I were to cut it straight, like this is the side seam, this is the center front, and this is the center back, and I wanted this A-line, what would happen is when you looked at it from the side, it would actually look like this. It would dip. It would be really weird. It would be like this. And that would be a point. When it was hanging on you, it would look like this. What's your question? Oh, you know what? I've been trying to make my mass pattern fit over an N95 because of smoke here. That's what I've been trying to do. I think Nancy, though, isn't Nancy in healthcare? Okay, so that's quite a swing. I probably don't want really that much A-line. I'll do a bit, though. So let's see here. And that way, maybe if my hem falls on this white stuff, it won't look so crooked, too. So let's look at it right side up now. I want to accidentally. What's great is that this fabric's so drapey, you know? So if this is my side seam, how much could I go out? What if I went out to like here? I may have to revise this a little bit. Why did I do a straight line like that? Why did I do a straight line like that? Right up here. Why did I cut that? You know? See, so that would be my side seam. It would look like that. So I obviously can't do that. But I can round it a little bit, you know, even start it here. And so usually what you do is you say, all right, my skirt is 22 inches and you need your side seam to be that too. So it would need to be like right about here. Well, I'm winging it. I'm sorry, I'm kind of hungry. So it's more like that. See that? Oh, you were for UPS. The opposite of healthcare. Well, you guys are heroes right now. Man. You're your own brand of hero. I'm going to have a sample sale, but I want to wait until like all the talk of male worries is over, you know? So this is my center, right? Yeah, that's my center. Just lining up my plaid here. I keep getting my hair caught on the side. That's great, yeah. I really feel for our drivers right now, just because of the smoke and the ash, and their doors are all open, and oh, it's so bad here. Okay. What's my backup plan? So about now I'm kind of like, okay, what if the skirt really doesn't work, right? I have some extra fabric, but I don't have enough for a whole nother skirt. What's my backup plan? I think about that all the time. What's my backup plan? Well, the lines being on the fabric really help. Look at how cute that looks. That's kind of cute. I hope this works, you know? But what would be my backup plan? So I could add more panels if I wanted more fullness, right? I could even put my back into pieces, so I could end up going to the rectangle. And they do not get hazard pay. It's true. Yeah. If the length is too short, I could add a ruffle. I could add a pleat. Pleat would be really cute, you know, where, you know, you just have a piece of fabric underneath, popped out, like, you know, like that. I like the way those look all the time, you know. So there's some options, and this is what I console myself with when I'm like, okay, I'm kind of taking a risk here, you know. I try and think of, well, what do I do if I'm not, you know, if it doesn't come out the way I wanted it to. All right, so this is my front. This is my back. Oh my God, I almost thought that was scrap. This is some scrap. I'm gonna have enough for napkins. Yeah, right, Ray. I know. I think that'll help, but you know what? I do think I'll be in a pickle when I do my front right now, because remember, the plaid on the front doesn't match the same on the side. But I'm wondering if I can just use the back. I still kind of want the plaid bias placket, you know? I almost said go Dave, but I thought you guys think I was crazy. Yeah. Did I say go Dave? Because I was thinking it. I know. I love those things. And it could work. It could work, you know? I think, like, you know, like you can cut up into your fabric and then put those little Rare. That's what they look like. Terry. That is a backup plan though. If you can afford to do that, I think it's a really good backup plan because you'll probably end up getting what you really want, you know? Because you're like, all right, I'm not settling for anything but what I set out to do, you know? There's only a few times where even my backup didn't work or I really just like, it just didn't work. But look at my Myosotis. Remember this one? This was the infamous dress I serged the hole down the center front. Only you and me know that, right? So, okay, so here's my front. Let's look at my front compared to the back and where the plaid would be if I used this as a template. This goes here. So my thing on the front is that I need this orange stripe to be my center. And I'm gonna measure, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this the center, but match it this way. And let's see what happens. I'm not gonna cut it quite yet. So this is my center. This is my center. Right? But the side is gonna match this. So okay, so I need this to be at least that far in. So let's do that one right there. Yeah, not precious. Not precious. Exactly. So true. I just love that what that woman said at the fabric store the other day, the not an heirloom, you know? All right, so I want it to line up this way with my front. And then where is my my cut line though is, this is the top here. All right, so I'm gonna cut this off right here. This is the one that was 1 3/4 above it, right? Okay. You know, I was hoping we'd see Cindy again soon because I kind of want to ask her, because she's a weaver. She's local to me. I know she pops into the stream occasionally, and she's a prolific weaver, really knowledgeable. And I want to ask her, is there a way for us to tell the right from the wrong side of the fabric when it's something like this, you know? It's ASMR for your eyes. I'm kind of like right now I'm kind of like, I hope this works because the fronts make me worry a little bit. I obviously am swimming in fabric. I don't know how that happened because you've definitely seen me not swimming in fabric usually. But I remember thinking, that's a plaid, give yourself some extra, you know. All right, so now I have my top line. I know that's the top. All right. So now if my center front was this one, I'm happy. Okay, so right now, let's see. Do I have enough for the flare? If I use this, I don't think I do, right? I have to use that one way over there. 1, 2, 3. I don't think I'm gonna have enough though. So this is when I really should decide if I'm doing the bias placket That'll save me. That'll be fine. I'm gonna do the bias placket. Oof. Do I have enough bias? Will I have enough bias? You could do this. You just gotta take your time, think it through, experiment. Draw a picture. I've definitely done that many times. All right, so if that was my center front, this was, right. All right, so that gives me enough. Did I really cut that on the line? Do you guys remember? I must have, huh? Okay. Okay. So I'm going to cut this off so I have this piece free. So let's see. The concerns I have right now that I'm thinking, if you want me to think out loud, I'm hoping this skirt design works. I hope it's full enough. And loose enough because I'm curvy down here, and not having the gathers makes me a little nervous. You know, I only have the gathers right here and the A-line. So as long as I have something, I think that'll be okay. I have all this for bias, so I'm crazy if I think I don't have enough. It's like a whole yard. I worry that the bias, I'm going to be worried about the plaid being continuous, right? Because you can piece bias together usually, but something like this, you might want to be more strategic about those, hitting those points down the middle, right? So that's what I'm thinking. That's why I was thinking about that. All right, so this is one front. So I pretty much have to fit both my fronts in a piece like this. And that's why I'm thinking, as long as I can make a bias placket, it means I get to remove fabric off the front here all the way like back to here, something like that, because all I need to leave is a seam allowance past the I have to even go back past the center front, because the bias or the placket, I'm thinking out loud, sorry guys, right? What's that? Okay. So if this is your center front and I made my placket, right, finishing here, I want to cut off this. So this is my seam line plus seam allowance. That's my new front. I'm going to cut off all that. Ooh, striped knits. At least you can kind of stretch them to match, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Here's my front. And basically, this is it, right? 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, I'm just going to cut this down the middle. And now I'm just going to do my angle. If you don't know what you're doing, what you do is you just stick to what you know, and then eventually you're left with the piece. So this will be like that. These gathers are going to gather up. They're going to stop matching in this area, but that's okay. And then we're just going to do a little bit this time. Right there. That's my target for my flare. And I'll use this as a template. And yeah, I think putting that in the cream section was one of the smarter things I've done lately. What's this pen doing here? I'm suspicious of pins. They're like, you know, like they're these little beasties. It's like they want to ruin your knife sometimes, you know. So then that'll be my side seam. Like that. So you see my plaid repeat is a little off, but the lines will be matching. You can already see that growing. I don't know if you guys can see. This is already growing because it's on the bias. Okay. All right. I'm going to just leave this center front for now because I'll just sew it to match the bodice when I get there. I'll just trim it off then. That'll be pretty easy. So let's cut the angle on this one. At least okay. Yeah, I actually have to go a lot of things. I have to kind of talk it through. I've noticed my daughter's is kind of becoming like that. Like she'll come to me and she'll be like, so if I blah, 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 blah. And then she'll be like, oh yeah. And it's like, I'm the same way. I used to do that to Rayanne all the time. I would say, okay, now if I do this and if I sew it this way and then we could do it this way, oh, but that'll be that. And then at the end, I'll be like, okay, I got it. And she'll be like, nice talk, you know. I just have to like talk it through sometimes. All right, so I'm pretty much on there, right? Okay. This turned out so much better. I was really worried about the plaid and this curve here. So I'm really glad that worked out. All right, so we have our skirts. Now let's talk about plackets. And I'm going to cut ruffles too. Yes, I would, Ray. I will probably stay stitch those. The thing is, the seam itself is going to stretch it out a tiny bit. Plus, where when there's bias there, it'll hang and kind of stretch over time a little bit. So it's almost better sometimes to cut it a little shy of where you want it to end up because it's going to stretch and relax. The seam is also going to, when you sew it, like I said, it's going to stretch it a little bit, even with the stay stitch. And the seam is a little heavier, so sometimes the seam can kind of draw it in, and sometimes it can actually kind of make it, encourage it. So you just got to figure out what it's going to do. I'm not going to do the ruffles on the bias, but I'm thinking about it. All right, wait. So let's figure out our center front placket length now. I don't need you. I need one of you. And one of you. No, I need both of you. I don't need you guys. I'm excited about this. I don't need you. I need you. That's the back. Where's my other front? Is this it? I'm so scared. Oh, this is it. It was in my scrap pile. Okay. Where's my other front yoke? Okay, I have sleeves, the back yoke, back skirt, back bodice. I'm missing a yoke, front yoke. It's like camouflage. All right, well, I'm not going to worry about that right now. I will find it or I will recut it. This is the back skirt. Front skirt. Okay, so I just want to know this measurement here. All right. All right. Serging can stay stitch it. It's just, I feel like, oh, see, my skirt already, my dress already, oh no. I want it to be 37 inches. That's right. Okay. All right. So yeah, I'm okay. I'm in there. Serging is just a lot of thread. But yeah, a lot of people do that. Because it seems quicker, you know, and kind of cleans up the edge and it won't unravel. But it is it's bulkier. That's what I mean by a lot of thread. It's bulkier. All right, so this front opening is we'll say 35 inches. Now this is the kind of math that always kind of drives me bonkers. So if my front, here's my center, here's my extension, and then my fold backs, right? I figured all this stuff out. What I need is it to be, I love using these little markers and I gotta stop it because they're supposed to be marking on fabric, but I love how small the points are. So if this goes to here, this would be where the placket stitched. That's what I want to be my stitch line. Plus I want a seam allowance, so 1/4 inch. So that's where my new front is, which means I'm gonna cut off all that 2.5 inches. My placket equals 7 1/8. 7 1/8 is 1 3/4, right? And then plus seam allowance, so 2 1/4 inches wide by 35 inches long. And I need 2. All right. Okay. So this I'm gonna cut the 2.5 inches off of. That's a scary number. Because this is my center line now. You know, I feel like I'm in danger. I am gonna lose the center line because it's just gonna be plaid. Okay, that's okay. So basically it is it cutting off this orange line? Pretty much. That's easy. Okay. Let's go for it. I'm not afraid. Are you afraid? Now I can't tell my that's the center front. Okay. So this worked out pretty good. We'll just cut this off now. Now that we know. And like for the bias placket, I will definitely be interfacing that and stitching the heck out of it to try and stabilize it as much as possible. All right. I need to find my other front and then cut my plackets. I'm gonna pin this like this on here so that I remember that's the direction. I haven't thrown anything away. What the heck, you guys? All right, these are my pieces, right? No. No, look at that. Bias. Okay. No, no, no. All right. got to be in my bin. Oh, it's behind my bin. All right. Okay. Okay, you guys, let's see. So we need space. We need space. I'm going to get rid of the hook. I put an old pattern hook on my ruler to hang it up. But I don't know how many times I've touched this with my blade. Same with the metal ruler. Metal rulers are pretty unforgiving with your blades, you know. All right, so I need a piece that's 35 inches wide on the bias. So this might be good ruffle right here. This was the top of the skirts. Ruffle. I'm gonna stack up my pieces based on grain line. I'm kind of nerdy that way sometimes. Oh, this is a hot mess. Okay, let's see here. This is usable for stuff, okay? So now I need to decide, you know, like where I want my plaid. You know, I kind of remember that, Sherry. I ironed it. Let me find a spot maybe I didn't iron so well. That's a good point. That's actually a really good point because it's really obvious on printed fabric. You know? And that's how it can be. I bet that this is the wrong side. But now it's kind of... So let's see, can we tell the difference? I mean, probably, but oof. You know? Sometimes you can tell because like maybe the like warp and weft kind of give it away. Okay. So, do I go, you know, straight down? Oh, this is another thing to think about when you're doing plaids like this on the bias. Some plaids aren't a square, they're a rectangle. And you might get a little frustrated with the placement. But you don't have to use true bias for bias. Meaning you don't have to use the true 45-degree angle. Anyone who doesn't know what bias is just the 45-degree angle of the grain line. So this is the selvage right here, so it's length grain across the fabric that they cut when they cut at the fabric store. That's the cross grain. And then anything in between is bias. Anything on these angles is bias. True bias is 45 degrees. So it's exactly in the middle of the length and the cross grain, right? But you can put it anywhere you want. You're going to get stretched no matter what. You're going to get the most stretch on the true bias. So not on camera. What wasn't on camera? Did I miss something? Yeah, that's hard. Me too. I don't think it's that hard. Oh, my serging wasn't on camera. I mean, the selvage wasn't on camera. Yeah. I don't know if you'd be able to see it on the camera. I think that this is the wrong side. I don't know. I can kind of see some raised bumps there. But now I've cut it. You know? Alright, so I need 2 plackets that are 35 inches and 2.5 inches wide, and I'm going to easily get that. So I think I'm just going to, so this is the other thing, like if you want this on the center of your placket, this can't be in the center of your pattern piece. So let me get my paper pencil out here. So my placket cut piece is this, right? So this right here is 2 1/4 inches. But here's the fold line. Here's the seam line. This is the center of my placket as it's going to show to the world. So this is where you want to center your X's. Don't do it here. You'll still get a cool effect, but it might not be what you were hoping for. Oh yeah, exactly, Ray. I know. It's really that showed up better than I thought just now, but it's pretty hard to tell. Look how good that fabric looks. So if I want this to be my center, you know, it's going to be you know, that right there is my center. I should just make my placket 1 inch, honestly. It'll be a lot easier to do the math. So let's make it 2 1/2 inches cut. And then my seam allowance would go 1/4 inch past here, like that. So really, I want my line to be 3/4 inch past the center of this. And then my 2 1/2 to start from there. So it goes like that. Does that make sense? So let's just cut one of the lines here. So if I were to put my ruler, so I said 3/4 inch past that center. Let's hope this works. I've actually tried to figure this out before and then it didn't work. I don't want this to get too stretched out either. This is something that it took me a bit to figure out that was what was happening before. You know, you don't do this very often. And so, you know, you do it and then like maybe 5 years later you do it again and then you're like, wait, why didn't this work out again? You know? And that's why. Gotta always remember where your center is, where your finish is, and then do that in relation to what you're talking about. Hopefully I'm right. All right, so now I'm gonna do my 2 1/2 inches that way. That nice straight line there. I'm not very good at these rulers, but I've been working on it. The bin bins have taught me a lot. They're just harder for me to see. Now, even if I don't get a 35-inch piece, I could still splice in my plaid to match, you know? All right, let's get rid of that little messy piece there. So see now when my placket is folded, that'll be the center. Okay, so let's just treat this nice and delicate. But I think this is like 1 placket worth. Yeah. So I just need 1 more of these for my placket. We're gonna straight down the middle again. This is definitely gonna use up your fabric. All right, so I have 1 little square right here. I don't know if you can see it. So I can use that, which is good. So I'm, like I said, putting my center of my placket on there. Just 3/4 an inch past that way. Like these. Oh my gosh, right, Ray? My favorite is when I do that, but I don't write down what garment it's for. And then I'm like, you know, this looks like it's that one, you know, and but I can't trust it. I have to make sure, and then I have to do it all over again. You know? So, like, if you could see, I have this funky wood bar, which I've been meaning to replace since the day I put it up here. And on it, I have all these little notes. I have cards from a couple of you guys, and all these, like, I have masks. I have just weird schematics and stuff like that. And some of them I will sometimes look at and I'm like, what is that? You know, and then I get rid of it. And then, like, literally the next day I'll be like, oh, where's that? Blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, that's what that was. I'm digging it out of the trash. All right. There we go. So now I'm going to do my 2.5 again. I know, it doesn't seem like you'll ever forget. I was just thinking that because after this last time we evacuated, we're getting better at it, you know, and I was kind of angry, you know, I was kind of like, ugh, when I got home, I was like, okay, if we're going to do this, then I'm going to change a few things. And so one thing I'm going to make soon is I'm going to make a portable kitty litter thing so that I don't have to schlep our kitty litter box. And I'm going to make it, I saw some travel ones online that gave me the idea, but they aren't very big, so I'm going to make one. And it's going to be like PVC coated fabric, zippered with a lid. It's not like, you know, waterproof, but it'll be fine for, because, you know, litter absorbs stuff, so it'll be fine for that. And it'll have a lid and a handle, you know, like things like that. And then I also bought extra litter. I bought extra stuff, just a couple of things. And I'm leaving them in my truck because my truck has a trunk under the bed. And those aren't temperature, like they won't be affected by temperature because the temperature gets kind of hot here. And I packed a pet-to-go bag. I gave them their own dishes. You know, that kind of stuff. It's like, I was going through looking for linens for the air mattress because we decided we're going to bring an air mattress. And I was going through the linens and I was like, why is this folded here? There's something about this being folded here. And I could not remember it. And I remember thinking, you'll never forget why you put this here like this. So, yeah. I know that one really well. Yeah, exactly, Terry. Exactly. Yeah. I'll be using the bin math. What do you mean? I do use the bin math a lot, though, now. I used it for that lid. It was really fun. Okay, so I have my plackets. All I need now is neck binding and ruffles. And ruffles, maybe I should just cut a bunch of fabric that's that width and not worry about the plaid. Yeah, no? This is the selvage. So I could just cut a bunch of ruffle. My problem is that I want the plaid to be the same on the ruffle. So let's see what I have the most of. I could do it on the bias, honestly. But, do I really want to do it on the bias? Ruffle on the bias sounds kind of heinous to deal with. Okay, that's the grain line for both of those. And then I have this one really big weird thing. And I'm going to do folded ruffle so that I don't have to hem a really long edge. Oh, Bin Bin Math make a litter box. Yeah, that's exactly what I told my husband. I was like, basically, I could use a bin bin and then make a zippered lid. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I need some water. Yeah, it's so funny how we don't trust ourselves on that math. You see that and you throw it away, and then you're like, you do all the math and you're like, oh, I came up with the exact same thing. Why didn't I trust myself? But if you don't come up with the same thing, then you're like, no, I trust nothing. So do I maybe do... I'm trying to decide. Huh. Okay, you're not big enough. You're kind of big enough. Maybe I will just cut up a bunch of this ruffle. Do I want it to look like this? No. Do I want it to look like... How wide is that? It's pretty wide. If I want this to be the... It's pretty much the only feature. It's this or this. So if I want that to be on the center, I'd have to go like that. That could work though. I wonder if I have enough. I don't know if I have enough. I have another one right here. I might have enough. Boy, that fabric seems so luxurious just like an hour ago. What is this? Oh, this is the in-between piece. All right, we'll use this for the neck binding. I'll cut that down for neck binding. What is this here? It's potentially if I'm desperate. I also need chest ruffles, but I'm just kind of hoping I'll make all the ruffles at once. So. You can learn to give it, walk away and give it. Exactly. I can't though. I can't let something go. I have to figure it out, you know? So I feel you on that. All right, so I have this. Look at this piece is the only one that's not like, I don't have any of that. I can't even, yeah, all right. Oh, thanks, Nancy, yeah. It's, I hate it. I don't think anyone really could ever adequately describe what it's like. And for those folks that are going through this after surviving a big fire, they are a little bit unhinged. I see their comments like looking for information, and I just want to hug them. You know, they're like, but is it on this road? Is it on this road? You're not telling us that, you know, or stuff like that. Or seeing people's comments like, can you at least leave power to the stoplights? We can't even like get to we don't even know there's a intersection because it's pitch black and the lights are out, and you know it's not like marked for a four-way stop, so people might be blowing through it not knowing they're blowing through it, and they're panicking, you know, it's the middle of the night, so they're like, can't you at least leave the lights blinking? You know how they blink when the power is out? So it's like that kind of stuff. There's just all these little layers. Okay, I don't need that, right? Stop looking at that. And then what was this? This was like a backup piece. I just not sure I'll have enough ruffle going around. I probably will. Let's just go for it. If worst case scenario, we'll do something different for the chest. Okay. I'm just gonna cut a bunch of ruffle in the exact same place. And then I'm going to piece it all together. So, oh, yeah, Nancy. No, my pet peeve is when you're watching the news and there's a news reporter showing a house that made it next to a house still smoldering. Those people probably have no idea if their house made it or not, and they're seeing it for the first time on the news. That right there is just drives me nuts that they do that. And you know, sometimes we'll be talking to people and they're like, oh, this person asked that we not show their house because, you know, like they don't really need anybody knowing where they live. These are really rural areas. It's not really hard to see. So I could save myself a little bit by not making it 5/8 of an inch. But it already is. That might confuse things, you know. So, yeah, Sherry. I was literally like, all right, we're moving to, is it Vancouver Island right by Seattle? We're moving there. My parents are like, what? My husband's like, okay. I don't know. I don't think the right thing to do is abandon it. Abandon ship, though. All right, I'm going to cut it on this bottom line and that bottom line and like 3/8 of an inch above that. That's my plan. Let's do it. Cut off the selvage. This is my last step. This is all I'm going to do. I'll cut down the width of that piece for my neck binding, and then we're done. You guys are just champs. I didn't even check to see how many people are watching today. Wow, you guys are champs. Still hanging in. This is a long stream. Really long stream. All right, so we're going to save this. That's all our backup stuff. I may piece these together at an angle because the angle's already there and I don't want to lose anything. We'll see. I'm not going to use that. Alright, so this is my neck. This, I'm going to put that on the ground. This is my backup. That's backup. Okay, that's my backup pile. This is my actual pile. This is my neckband. I have to say things out loud. Okay. So I've already cut. That's the wrong. Wait, it is the right edge. Really? Is it that wide? Oh yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, that's what we were thinking, Ray. I thought my parents wouldn't be, my mom's kind of like, when she moved here, she was like, we're never moving again. This is it. And then they lost their home, you know? And so then they moved into town, which they just weren't really a big fan of, you know? That's not where they wanted to live, and that's where they ended up finding a place. It was really hard to find home. It's still really hard to find homes. And, I thought I got the impression she was like, yeah, we're just never gonna leave. But, you know, she's just like, the summer is really hot. We can't go outside living down here. And the smoke, you know, the smoke is so bad. And she's like, I don't want to deal with this forever. And she's not even having to worry about fire. And so I didn't realize it, but they're kind of open to leaving. Our only wild card is that my sister... her husband's in the Navy, so they could end up going somewhere else, and they will. You know, they don't leave you there forever. So, backup pile, real pile, and we think that they're gonna stay in Washington, even if they have to get stationed somewhere else. We think that they'll end up settling back there eventually. That's all of us. That's what we're all thinking. They would never say. They don't. They say that they don't know. Backup pile. So the reason I need all this ruffle, maybe I should have said, is that I added a ruffle to the skirt. Down at the bottom. Right here. So I have this ruffle and I have this ruffle. I don't have one on the sleeve. My sleeve is looking like this. Okay, I'm getting excited about this. That's okay, Melinda. Sometimes it's nice too, especially when it's a gift. Okay, that's back up. Ooh, look at all this juicy fabric. Okay, so that doesn't count. If I get more going, nope, doesn't matter. Okay. Ooh, it's a nice long piece right here that I don't get to use. Look at this nice long piece. I don't get to use. Okay, that's back it. I'm gonna measure what I have, measure where I'm gonna put it. I wanna see what ratio I have of ruffle to skirt. That's how I'm gonna figure it out and see, okay, as long as it's 1.5 or so, we're fine. That's how I'm gonna see if I have enough. Right? I know. You know, I've told you guys stories about that. That was a very traumatic part of my college years, is how badly I drew, because it was really, really important to them. You have to remember, you guys, there wasn't the like drawing and Illustrator didn't exist, right? Computers weren't even what they were. We didn't even have email in college, you know, so there wasn't those kinds of other platforms to maybe they would work better for you, you know. I don't know if they would have worked better for me. I had like painting classes, you know, that I hated. One of my teachers scared the crap out of me. She made me pass out once in class. And for some reason, she knew who my dad was. My dad's an artist. Not a famous artist or anything, but maybe it's in like it was in my file. And she knew that. I don't know why she would know that, why she would remember that about me, who was like just like a fresh equivalent of a freshman in her class. But she said, I don't understand why you're so bad. Your dad's an artist. And bringing up my real father is kind of like a loaded thing for me at the time. I didn't know him. And I was like, wait, how do you know my dad? You know? And so after that, I was always terrified in her class. And then I ended up passing out. And it's really funny. My students at the high school, like whatever that was, 20 years later, they were talking about, I met an FITM graduate, and then we were talking, and we brought up that teacher. Her name was Mrs. Riegelman. And so then my students were all, oh, let's look her up, because there was Google now, and they looked her up, and they were like, whoa, she's intense looking, and she is intense looking. And this person remembered her being that way too. They were like, yeah, she was pretty intense. I was like, okay, it wasn't just me. Right, exactly. Okay, it would be longer on this end, so I'm gonna cut it from this way. It's so nice having a plaid that is not one way. It really allows me to play around with this. I don't know why I just cut the selvage off of that piece. I feel like this is enough, or it's nowhere near enough. You know what I mean? It's going to be one or the other. And maybe I should just do the math and figure it out before I cut everything up, but I have a good eye for these things. I have a feeling I need all of it. Didn't I want this in the middle, though? I don't think I figured that out right. I'm just now figuring out like how close I am to the edge here. What the heck? Because remember I wanted my... Ugh, I did cut that wrong. Wait, why didn't I give myself more there? Oh my god. Okay, I don't have the bandwidth. We'll figure it out. Okay. This piece, anything? Yeah, we'll just leave that. We'll just leave these pieces. I'm just going to cut these off now so they're more manageable. All right, and this one, I think we can just do that and that. All right. Phew. Let's cut down my neck binding here, and then let's eat lunch. I had a peanut butter and jelly tortilla the other day when our power was out. It was such a nostalgic thing. It was so good. Do you guys ever eat peanut butter and jelly tortillas, or is that weird to you? People say it's weird, but it's really good to me. Okay, I'm pretty sure that will be enough for the neckline. I'll just leave this just as backup as well. So this is my neck. And I think I'll piece all this together and figure it out. I think I may end up having enough. I think my backup plan right now is to do a different ruffle at the chest. So this will be my skirt, and then I'll have a chest one. Right? I know. Yeah, I forget to look at chat. I know, she was precious. I remember when I passed out I'm just looking for, oh, here, I saved this selvage here. This is perfect. She would give her demos like up close. So she would say, okay, everyone gather around. And I remember kneeling on the ground in front of her, and everyone else was kind of behind me. And I looked up at her, and she looked at me, and I just went, and I just passed out. Like, I was that scared of her. And I have vasovagal syndrome, and it always gets me like that. Like, that's what happens. In fact, Cricket got her wisdom teeth out on Friday, and I was on the ground in that office. It's like shocking things or pain. That's what will kick it off. And just looking at her, it just was passed out. It was so embarrassing. Oh, man. Yeah. You ate those all the time as a kid? Really, Melinda? I love it. I think it might be a California thing. Oh, God, I love almond butter. No, yeah. Oh, Terry, that's a bummer. Yeah. Yeah, especially with, like, something salty, like salty chips. Ooh, I don't have that for lunch today. I can't remember what I brought. Oh, I think I brought black beans and brown rice and cheese. I think that's what it is. Like, my husband made it for dinner last night. It was really good. He said there's a little bit of egg in there, too. I put this on, like, I don't like seeing that big white space. All right. We did good today, you guys. I'm really excited about this dress. Can't wait to sew it up. I don't think I will get to sew this all the way through on Saturday. That took me so long to cut that out. It'll be less to sew it, but all that ruffling will take a lot of time. The ruffling alone will be probably one stream. Ruffling, am I right? So I will be here on Saturday, 11 a.m., barring anything happen crazy in my life. And then we'll do part 2 next week. I'll decide. I'll start trying to do at least 2 streams a week, maybe back up to 3, because I really want to do the Alcott next week. So maybe we can finish this on Wednesday and then cut the Alcott on Thursday and sew it on Saturday. So, wait, you have pots? Oh, I used to know what that was. I'm gonna have to look that up. Is that similar to vasovagal? Vasovagal is so annoying. It's not even a big deal. It's no big deal, but, you know, it just stresses people out. It's just like my blood pressure switches really quickly. That's all it is. No big deal. All right. I will see you guys Saturday. Thanks for coming. This is fun. I hope when you do your plaid cutting out, it's not quite as epic as this, but I imagine it will be. So, because you guys are gonna do something plaid, right? So, all right. Well, I missed you guys. Thanks, and I will see you soon. Couple days. It's already Thursday, right? So.